Well, when I was in high school, I became homeless. I was a junior, and my parents became divorced. They got divorced. One of them went one way, one of them went the other. My mother, I was living in Cupertino. My mother went back to Texas to live with her family, and my father hadn't wanted to have kids. And so he said, get out, go live with your mother. But I was a junior by then, and very well integrated into the school. I was in the band, I was on the debate team, I was in student government, all those kinds of things. So I ran away from home in Texas and moved back to California, but I didn't have anywhere to live. My high school chemistry teacher finally figured it out, because I was coming to class unbathed and with matted hair and dirty clothes and whatnot, and falling asleep in class and missing class and whatnot. And she let me sleep on her couch, and I ended up sleeping on her couch for my senior year in high school. I had promised Miss Montag, that high school chemistry teacher, that after I had taken care of myself and been successful in life, that I would return the favor and I would help some kids like she had helped me. So I was in college, but since I didn't have any parental support, I didn't have any income, it's very, very difficult. And so I eventually ended up dropping out. And I joined the U.S. Merchant Marines, and I sailed around the world on ships for about 5 to 6 years. As for what I learned there, well, I learned a different slice of life than most people ever get to see. I became a welder and a painter, and so I have those vocational skills. And it was very interesting when I went to Stanford Business School some years later. I was the only person who knew how to weld. And I think that was one of the reasons they probably let me in. When I was into the year 2000 and I was on a sabbatical from the computer industry, I kind of got bored, and I called down to one of the local high schools, Los Altos High School, and asked them if they needed any math teachers. They said, can you come down tomorrow? And I came down, and they needed substitutes who were qualified to teach math. And so the very next day I started substituting teaching math. And then in the summer, the week before school started, they called me and they said, can you teach social studies? I said, oh, sure. How hard can that be? The last history class I had was when I was in high school.
It was definitely interesting. Going into his classroom every day during second period was definitely stressful, because you never know what kind of mood he's going to be in. Definitely has a distinct teaching style. If you don't get it, you're in trouble. And he definitely has a bias in everything he teaches. He's an economist. He's definitely a liberal. But it was a really, really interesting class, and I learned a lot.
You know, if you Google what is good teaching, there's 500 million articles in the world on that subject. The number one piece in the world is by me. 459 million citations for that query. And so we just click to the number one piece. There it is. And see down at the bottom, the first thing that makes a good teacher is the capacity to empathize with the student, to know what's in the student's mind and how is the student's mind working. The second thing is you do have to have some subject matter knowledge. You know what I mean? And the third thing is, how does new knowledge get structured in a mind? And the three of these things, the empathy, the subject matter knowledge, and the knowledge of how learning occurs, those three things are what make a good teacher. It was raining outside, and I was in my classroom in room 313 at Los Altos High School. And because it's raining, the kids will sometimes come in because they can't hang out in the quad to eat their lunch. In the back of my room were 5 kids, seniors, boys, and they were talking, and I was kind of not paying attention to them, but I was kind of hearing what they were saying, and it was very bitter. It was very complaining about the state of the world. I ignored them as long as I could. But then I finally said, you guys should listen to yourself. It's terrible. It's very bitter. It's very cynical what you're saying. And they said to me, well, Mr. Freeman, the world's pretty messed up. You got to admit. And I said, oh, I know it is. But that's why we're here. The question is, what are you guys going to do about it? And they said, well, what can we do? We're just teenagers. And I said, I hadn't thought this through. This was spur of the moment. I said, well, if all of you did a little bit, it could be big. We didn't know how big at the time, but that was the moment at which ODFL was born, because we started to think about that. What would happen if every teenager did just a little bit, but they all did it?
So I didn't know Robert Freeman too well. He was in the social studies department. I taught in science, and so we had interacted a bit on the staff level. But working with him with ODFL, I had no idea how passionate he was. He's a brilliant man, and he can get you excited about anything. So it was really neat to get to know Robert, not only as a colleague, but as a dear friend, somebody who really knows how to inspire people and wants to make a difference in the world.
The way ODFL works is we invite students to organize a fundraiser in their school, where every student is invited to give $1. And we invite the school, challenge the school as a whole to do something big for the world. And we give them a menu of projects they can choose from. So they can choose to build the school in Malawi, or one in South Africa, or one in Nicaragua, or one in Nepal. And then the school as a whole commits to be one of many schools that help build that project. Then we aggregate the money between all the different schools, and then we build a project. 100% of all the money students give in ODFL fundraisers goes into building the school.
Our first trip to Kenya, obviously it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. It was truly an amazing experience. The host family spoke English, so we were very comfortable with one another to share stories and really make a bond. So that will always resonate with me.
I am currently the vice president, and last year I was the treasurer of Los Altos High School's ODFL club.
Elizabeth Bishop went on an ODFL summer trip to Nicaragua in the summer of 2010. She came back, and then 2011 is when she started to have me as a teacher.
So I was kind of talking to him about it, and I was like, well, I'd really love to do a follow-up on my trip, because it kind of seems like selfish to just go down there and meet everyone and experience this really great culture and then not really do anything with it.
And she said to me, Mr. Freeman, they have no toys down there. And I said, I know they don't. And she said, what are we going to do? And I said, no, Elizabeth, what are you going to do?
So we started collecting Legos, we organized a drive, we made some videos, we advertised it throughout the school.
And Legos are the perfect toy, you don't need instruction manuals, they last forever, there's an infinite amount of creative play, that multiple people can engage in.
And then once we got our tower going, a lot of other people wanted to join in and contribute to the tower because it's going up, right?
Have you ever known a bigger person who takes things for themselves? No, the people you know and you respect are those who are generous. And so kids want to be bigger people. They want a better world. I want to be a bigger person. I'm 60 years old. I've built 41 projects in 8 different countries in 6 years. I still want to be a bigger person. Don't you want to be a bigger person? Everybody does. ODFL is a way to do that and make the world a better place.